Thank you all for joining us here today. In many ways, today's a celebration, but it's a celebration that is born out of many months of difficulty, of suffering, of the loss of 6 workers, and the difficulties that many more have faced. Today, ag workers across our state are eligible for the effective and life-saving vaccine. And among those very first ag workers are the workers at the JBS plant here in Greeley. We were at Cargill and Fort Morgan earlier today, making sure that workers at Cargill and Fort Morgan could receive the life-saving vaccine. They've already had 1,900 workers come through and get the vaccine. For both JBS and Cargill, it's important to point out that they are letting their workers be on the clock, getting paid while they're getting the vaccine. So that's an incentive to do that. There's an additional incentives beyond that. For those of them that might have sore arms or be a little under the weather tomorrow, they're not going to be running their production line tomorrow. So they're doing everything they can, and in partnership with their union and the workers' representatives, to help keep the workers safe. And I want to thank JBS CEO Andre Nogueira, Greeley Mayor John Gates, who's with us, Greeley City Manager Roy Otto, of course, United Food and Commercial Workers Local 7 President Kim Cordova, and the JBS leadership for helping to implement this plan that on the very, very first day of eligibility for hard-hit ag workers across our state, they're able to access the life-saving vaccine, getting through all of their employees today and tomorrow here in Greeley. And this is also a demonstration of the importance of meat processing and the industries on the food supply chain, not just, of course, for the workers here, but the importance of this role in the economy for both up chain, that means producers, ranchers, farmers, and then down market, which means consumers, for every Coloradan that puts food on the plate. The absolutely critical nature of these kinds of businesses in our economy and in our world, and in fact, both JBS and Cargill have essentially been open during the entire pandemic, with the exception of a few days, a week or two, when they had to take extreme quarantine protocols to save lives and prevent additional spread of the disease. They've been reliable for our producers in our state. They've been reliable for consumers, and they've taken many precautions to protect workers, none of which are as effective as the one that we're taking today, which is the vaccine, which again, they're getting their first dose today, second in 3 weeks, 2 weeks after that, about a month and a half from now. I'm proud to say that our hard-hit workers at our meat processing facilities will be fully protected from the deadly coronavirus. By the nature of their work, shoulder to shoulder, in close proximity, they've added in, of course, masks and additional protections, but by the very nature of their work, it's really impossible to do what we call social distancing. And that's really one of the reasons that the state has focused some of our very first eligibility around these hard-hit workers in our meat processing plants. We're joined by several other speakers today. 2 of our presenters at our meat processing plant are with us, Tahir Omar and Luz Elena Liba. We're also joined by Celio Frege. Before we get to our workers, I want to give Celio Frege the opportunity to talk about the logistics of how they got so many people here vaccinated over a couple-day period, and then we'll get to our workers' representatives. Celio?
All right, guys, good afternoon. My name is Celio Frege. I'm the plant manager for Greeley Beef Plant Facility. On behalf of 3,500 team members of the Greeley Beef Facility, and other 5,500 out of JBS US team members who live in Colorado, we'd like to thank you, Governor, for the opportunity. And thank you, the administration behind of this, CDPHE, National Guard, all medical professionals behind the scenes as we're doing our interviews here. They're all working hard back there to make this event possible. Along with that, and all the JBS staff members, UFCW Local 07, this past 2 months, 12 months has been very hard for us. And today is a very important step for all of us. And we're very grateful for this opportunity. And thank you, Governor, one more time. You guys have a good day. Thanks.
We're also joined by one of our worker representatives here today. Both of them are strong advocates for the safe working conditions, culminating, of course, in the level of protection the vaccine provides. Dahir Omar will say a few words. Dahir?
Thank you, Governor. My name is Dahir Omar. I'm a union rep with UFC Local 7. So actually today is a very big event. We have been waiting this for a while. We went through last year, also part of this year too. What they call the union, Local 7 and JBS welcome this. So I'm very happy for this to go through today. Thank you.
There are over 30 languages spoken by the workers at the JBS plant. Don't worry, we're not about to do this press conference in all 30, pero podemos hablar un poco en español. We are going to speak a little bit in Spanish, one of the more widely spoken languages amongst the workers here at the JBS plant, one of the 30 languages that JBS workers speak, which also underscore the challenges about reaching out with the health and safety information about the vaccine, the importance of safety protocols in so many different languages, because a risk to one worker, regardless of the language they speak, is a risk to another worker. Tenemos aquí Luz Elena Liba. Ella también es una representación de los trabajadores aquí, y ella puede hablar un poco en español sobre esta vacuna y qué significa para los trabajadores aquí. Elena.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Luz Elena Leiva, trabajo en JBS por 29 años. Yo me puse la vacuna por mi seguridad, por mi familia y por mi comunidad. Principalmente quiero darles las gracias a JBS por proporcionarnos la vacuna, a nuestros representantes de la Unión y principalmente al señor gobernador por proporcionarnos la vacuna. Quiero invitar a todos que se vacunen, es un bien para todos. Gracias.
We're also joined by our terrific Agriculture Commissioner, Kate Greenberg, strong supporter, food production systems, our farmers and ranchers, consumers. We are so fortunate as the state of Colorado to have the tireless efforts of our tremendous Ag Commissioner, Kate Greenberg, who's also been in the forefront of helping to keep our food systems workers protected. Commissioner Greenberg.
Thank you, Governor Polis. Thank you so much to everyone who made this day possible. This is an incredible moment. Thank you to JBS, to UFCW, to all of the workers. This day is the start of many weeks to come to protect all of the critical frontline workers in food and agriculture. This is a priority. You are a priority. Y también quiero decir dar las gracias a todos los trabajadores por su trabajo también. You all are fundamental to our state, to our economy, to Colorado. So thank you so much for this day.
Thank you, Commissioner Greenberg, and we'd be happy to take some questions. Yes.
Governor, obviously it's been a rocky year. You've said some things in front of our cameras criticizing what happened inside there. You're celebrating today, but can you give us an assessment of this past year, an overall report card on what this corporation did and maybe the lessons that were learned?
Well, look, today's not a day for Monday night quarterbacking. Today is a day for celebrating this triumph of modern science with a highly effective and safe protective vaccine that will be delivered to as many workers who want it today and tomorrow. I understand they're already getting uptake of in excess of 75% of workers. That'll only go up over time as people see that their friends get it and it's no big deal. There'll be plenty of time for analysis and recommendations about how to do better. But today is a day where the state of Colorado is partnering with the workers and with the employer, both on the same page, to really finally give a very high level of protection to all the workers at JBS and Cargill. Yes. I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Come. Take a few steps up, come on. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, he asked what the state is doing to build trust in the vaccine. So part of that is having the wonderful participation of Elena and Omar here with their own stories about how they're taking the vaccine, why, for their families, for their own protection. We encourage people to look to the science. It is rare that we would have such an effective vaccine. If you look at many of the leading vaccines for other contagious diseases, they don't even reach that same level of 95% protection that the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines, today we're administering Pfizer, offer as a level of protection. It's also important that people see the data that not only are the vaccines Johnson & Johnson, Pfizer, Moderna highly effective in preventing infection, they are very close to 100% effective in preventing death, which is more important than preventing infection. So all three vaccines are safe and highly effective. They are the pathway to end the pandemic, to save lives, to get back to normal here in Colorado, across the United States, and across the world. Thank you all.